What's so funny, TSM?
Disco Bob, yeah, let's go. Disco Bob, let's go. Tune in to Disco Bob, YouTube right now, let's go. Hey, Disco hard, I don't mean to flex so hard, but you tuning in with Disco Bob. Disco hard, I don't mean to flex so hard, but you tuning in with Disco Bob. Disco hard, I don't mean to flex so hard, but you tuning in with Disco Bob. Disco hard, I don't mean to flex so hard.
Hello everyone, I hope everybody's awesome and safe out there. Well, happy Friday to everyone. So it's a rainy, miserable day here today in Ohio, as you can see. It's rainy and miserable. I'm running a lot of errands today. So, running a lot of errands and paying bills and stuff today. But it's supposed to have high winds here and high winds coming up tomorrow, so it's going to be nasty tomorrow. Well, have you ever sat back and thought, how many houses have I lived in from the time I was born till now? Interesting. So what I'm going to do is we're going to figure out how many houses I've lived in from the time I was born to 52. So actually, I was born and raised in Martins Ferry, Ohio. I don't have any brothers, just one sister, and she's 4 years older than me. So it was just my mom and dad, my sister and me. Mostly my mom and me and my mom and sister, pretty much, because my dad wasn't around a lot. So actually we lived, the very first house that I've lived in, me and my mom was talking about this not too long ago. The very first house I ever lived in was on Walnut Street in Martins Ferry, up on a hill. Walnut Street flattens out and then it goes up to a hill. We lived in an apartment house on the hill up there, and that was the very first house I lived in when I was born. So that was number one. So we lived on Zane Highway, which was the main drag through Martins Ferry. Zane Highway. Lived in a house there. Well, they tore the house down. That's not there no more. So that's number two. And then moved back to Walnut Street in a house. That's three. So from the time I was born, we lived in, till I was 4 years old, we lived in 3 different houses. So across the street, we moved across the street, and my mom and dad rented. They moved in a house on Walnut Street across the street. Another house. It's a duplex. My aunt and uncle and my cousins, my mom's sister, lived in the other side of it. So we moved in that place when I was about 5, and I was just starting kindergarten. Lived in that place. Real nice, beautiful duplex. Nice. It was big. Big old house. Moved there, which is 4. So I lived in 4 houses so far. Then when I was about 7 years old, we moved to 8th Street in Martins Ferry. So that was number 5. And then when my mom and dad divorced then. And then me, my mom, and sister moved on the island, which is Wheeling, West Virginia. It was right across the river from Martins Ferry, across the Ohio River. And that was the number 6 place we lived in. We lived on Maryland Street on Wheeling Island. When anybody that lives around me, it's local that watches my videos, know exactly where I'm talking about. On Wheeling Island. So we lived there. That was number 6. So, lived there. And then my mom and stepdad got married. My mom got remarried. So we moved to another house on Wheeling Island, which is another duplex. It was on North Erie Street. That was number 7. Lived there when I was about 11 years old. We moved there. We didn't live there very long. And then that was number 7. Number 8 house, we moved in Triadelphia, West Virginia, which is, it's not far from there. Lived in the country on Chapel Hill Road. So right across from my stepfather's mother and dad's farm. We lived in it was a nice little shack. It was a nice house, not very big. So that was number 8, Chapel Hill Road. We lived there. We only lived there for summer. I was about 12 years old. So number 9 house, we moved in Bel Air, Ohio, which is, Bel Air is 4 miles south of Martins Ferry, which I was born and raised, south along the Ohio River. So that was number 9. We lived in an apartment, which my cousin lived on the bottom part. We lived on the upstairs. 2 apartments downstairs, 1 apartment upstairs, and we lived in the upstairs. So that was number 9. So we moved from the Bel Air. We only lived there for, I lived there I was in 5th grade. And then we moved to, back to Martins Ferry, out in the country. This is number 10 house. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Number 10 house. It was in a trailer, actually. Number 10. It was on Buckeye Run. They used to call it Buckeye Hollow. There's Buckeye trees everywhere. You could get buckeyes, abundance of buckeyes. A little dirt road. It's like it's a little valley. So we lived there. Damp area along a creek. So that was number 10 house. It was actually a trailer. It was a 10 by 50 trailer. Not very big. So we lived there. That was number 10. And then my mom and stepfather bought a brand new trailer. So we lived on my uncle's old land. We put the trailer there. It was a brand new trailer back in 1984. I was 13. That was number 11. Number 11 house. Actually trailer. And it was a 16 by 80. Or 14 by 80. It was a long trailer. They were made trailers that long. It was rare. It was an 80-foot mobile home. Long, 80-foot long. Went from a 50 to an 80. Lived there from, that was number 11. Lived there from time I was, from 84 to 98, 1998. That was number 11. Then we moved back to West Virginia, moved back to Wheeling, which is another part of Wheeling. We lived in, it was in Wheeling, close to West Liberty, West Virginia. On GCMP Road, we lived in a country home, little country house. That was number 12. It was a nice little house. So we lived there from 98 to 2005. And then moved from there. Moved back, number 12 house. This is number 12. Number 13. Number 13 house. So I'm losing count. Number 13 house, we moved, like I said, we moved back to Wheeling Island. My mom and stepfather bought this house. Put a lot of work into it. And lots and lots of work into it. It's a number 13 house. And 6 months putting work into it. We lived in there from 2005 to 2017. A lot of work. So we lived there, like my stepfather passed away back in 2009. So it was just me and my mother. And just couldn't afford to keep the place. Couldn't afford it. It was too big. Utilities were too high. It was on 2 incomes. We had 3 incomes. It was me, my mom, and stepfather. So, number 13 house. number 13. So, number 14, we moved from there from 2005. Let's see. Lived there from 2005 to 2017. And then from 2017 till now. I bought the house in May of 2017. I finally bought my first house. My very first house in May of 2017. It's where we live now. It's a smaller house. We only got the garage where I skate at. So from 2017 till now. And my mother lives with me, so I was really proud that I bought my very first house. I had to buy it because it was one level. Couldn't go up and down, you know. Kind of hard to go up and down the steps. So one floor, my mom didn't have to go up and down stairs. You couldn't do it. So it was one floor. I was proud to have my own house. So you figure I lived in 14 different houses. So 14 different houses from the time I was born till now. 14. I might have lost count. I don't know. 14. Yeah, 14 houses. It's hard to keep count. So 14 houses I lived in. I lived in 2 states and 3 cities. So there you have it. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. So, hey, if you ever think about how many houses, just sit back and think about how many houses you've lived in your entire lifetime. Some people lived in the same house their entire lifetime. But I lived in 14 different houses. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. And, hey, keeping the dream alive for my roller skate dancing. Keeping the dream alive. So everybody have a good one. And thanks for watching, guys. You guys are all awesome.
What's so funny, TSM?
You tuned in with the disco bob. Let's go disco, go hard. You tuned in with the disco bob. Let's go disco, go hard. You tuned in with the disco bob. Let's go disco, go hard. You tuned in with the disco bob. Let's go disco, go hard. You tuned in with the disco bob. Let's go disco, go